Sheila Jones, and okay, we're right. We're on. Okay. So I've got someone standing in for my producer who's been very, very ill. So I just want to give a shout out to Tiana and I hope she's feeling okay. But if things run a little bit rough tonight, you can just kind of, you know, we'll just overlook that bit, right? Because it's, you know, it's about the show and it's about the people. And I've got Sheila here tonight with me, and we're going to talk about now. First of all, she's got an injury, so you've got a sore back. So, and so have I. So I've spent quite a bit of time like trying to get my back right. But so if we're both kind of a bit fidgety and it's because we've got the sore back. So now let's talk about you, Sheila, because that's what it's all about. And let's talk about married. Yeah. So you want to tell me about now marriage? You know, I know the eyes go up. And,
well, I've had a couple of marriages.
Yeah.
And out of those marriages, I've got 3 beautiful girls.
Oh, wow, lucky you.
And like anyone in life, and in life's journey, we have our ups and downs, and I've had my fair share. But the best thing I've got is my 3 girls, my 9 grandkids.
Nice.
I've got 3 great-grandchildren now, and another one along the way. So I'm very rich and very blessed in my way of thinking. So family-wise, I've got 2 sisters who have my sister beat me by 1 for grandkids. She's got 10, where I've got 9.
Yeah, but is there still room for improvement?
Yeah.
Well, that's all that matters, you know.
And but not for my lot. I've got the great-grandkids though, which she hasn't. But and my other sister's got 2 grandchildren who, you know, so I'm very blessed with great nephews and great nieces as well. Did
you have a happy childhood?
Pretty much. Like, we lived in like government housing. Dad was a steel worker at the BHP for many years. He'd work and a worker. We come from England. I was 2 years old when I got
wow, so out from England. Okay, an import.
And I was 2. We come up on the £10 boats.
What's a £10 boat?
Well, you pay £10 for your fare on a boat to get over here from
England.
Serious?
I'm
not, 1949.
And look what you pay now for a cruise.
1949 that was.
1949, you were 2 years old. So what are you now?
71.
71, you look fabulous for 71.
I'm 72 this year, actually.
Wow.
But, you know, and I think, and Mum and Dad, look, they're like Darby and Joan.
Yeah.
Fought, loved, and that's one thing that I learnt in my upbringing, was that the love in the house. We never had much. Now, Mum and Dad never owned a car, but he was a working class man, and I did Dad's eulogy, and in that I had that he was a working class man, and that's simply what he was. And he used to give you a nod of his head, and had the bluest eyes, and you know, and he'd always nod like that, and he'd say to me, because I was a bit of a bugger, I'd torment him, and he'd say, "You think you're bloody smart, don't you?" So, "Oh yeah, Dad." And he used to sit in a chair, and he used to wear a beanie, and I'd sit there and I'd lay in front of the fire, because we had a fire, and the condensation then in those houses was unbelievable. And the fire was really hot, you know, and I'd lay down in front of it. And the water would be running down the bloody wall with the condensation. And he'd say, "You're going to get a bad back there, girl. You better get up." And I said, "I'll be right, Dad." And so, but that's what Dad was like. And he spoke to everybody. And Dad was a simple man. And my mother was fiery. She was a little bit shorter than me, and I'm short, Mum. But she was a bit shorter.
Yeah, you are tiny.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how short are you? But
well,
how tall?
Well, I was 4'11", and now I'm 4'9", so I've lost 2 inches.
Wow.
So, and Dad, like Mum, he used to say about her, Dad would say, "She's tiny, but she's a bundle of dynamite." And that she was. She ruled like with an iron rod.
Yeah.
But if a neighbour called, she could be in the middle of cooking tea and she'd drop everything.
I remember you telling me that before,
Yeah.
like, you know, they were very neighbourly and that's what it was like way back then. I mean, now today, you know, I find that some people just don't even know their neighbours. They've never met them before and, you know, it's pretty sad, isn't it, really?
Well, I think it is so what is lost, you know. I mean, we have so many things now. Like, I felt for youth years ago. I feel even stronger for youth today because there is so many temptations. The family structure's not there anymore. There's not the, you know, and at my 70th, I didn't want a 70th because at the time there was something personal that was going on for someone I love very deeply. And at that time I didn't want a 70th. My youngest daughter bounces in one day and says to me, "Mum, you're having a party." And all I wanted was at a King Edward Park. And one of the things that I said, and I had a lot of friends there, I had my family, and all I wanted to do was see the kids run. I never wanted to sit in a club and, you know, and all that sort of stuff.
So what sort of work did you, like, what was your first job?
My first job, my God, you're going back now, girl. I actually worked in preschool at one stage, and I only used to do a couple of hours a day. And I used to be the goodie, and I'd clean up the mess after the kids, you know, that sort of stuff. And then I went from there to the Mard Hospital, and I cleaned, hurt my back there, and then I trained into welfare. And
so how old were you when you trained?
37.
Like, so you started welfare, like in 37.
And
so did you have that, like, was it something that you wanted to do with youth, or was it?
Oh, always. The first thing I thought, in my 30s, I thought, I've done nothing with my life. I've had 3 kids, had some failed relationships, and then I thought I've done nothing in my life that I really want to do, and always loved kids. And I thought, and I always felt for adolescents. And the way the world is changing and it's forever revolving so quick now, and even then it was. So I thought, well, you know, I want to work with youth. So I did a volunteer couple of shifts. I thought, this is no good, I need to get some, you know, knowledge. And that's what I did, and I worked with youth for 24 years.
Wow, was it that long? 24 years?
Disadvantaged youth, 24 years I worked with.
Wow. And I mean, that would have had its ups and downs, obviously.
Oh, it did, but it was also very rewarding, you know, like if you had a kid that turned around and had a shower because you talked them into having a shower and they didn't have a wash. If you sat down, one of the best memories I have is there was a young boy come to ride with us with his shoe split, and he had a fungus in his feet. And I ended up, you know, like I used to paint his feet. And all that sort of stuff, you know, and comb his hair.
And I see, was that about the fact that they just, like that you had that relationship with them, like you would build a relationship with your
the thing you could
children.
do then, Kelly, you can't, you would never dream of doing what I did.
Yeah.
I'm an affectionate person, and I think the kids, they can see through you like that. They knew if you cared.
So you're saying like that, like today, that you there are limits about like how far you can go to have that closeness with a young person, or is it?
I think, for example, and it's one with my first disclosure of sexual assault. That young person was crying, and I hugged her. You couldn't do that now.
Yeah. Is that because you're not allowed to? Or?
It's because of the risks involved in being accused of, you know, you've been, you know, an offender or something. But, you know, and I had to do that because I was starting to get to tears. So I had to hug this young child or young woman, and that was my first experience with sexual assault being disclosed to me. So it was quite an emotional time. And I was asked once by a solicitor, because I used to get people come and talk to the kids about their rights and all that sort of stuff, you know, education-wise. And he said, what would you class as your success? I said, you can't measure success with these kids. I said, the only thing you can measure is if you've managed to get them to achieve one goal. Yeah. And a goal that you set with them. And I think one of the greatest things that I ever seen was a young woman who actually became a doctor.
Oh, wow.
And that
So
was,
did you follow her through her career?
well,
or
no,
did you know her through
I
that?
run into her actually, but I knew that's what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
She went from the service I was working with to another service, but she got a lot of support from a co-worker who supported her through that, and then from another service. And, you know, that's remarkable.
Mm.
And, you know, and one of the things I can recall too was a young woman who was very intelligent, who still saw me, and I still have people tracing me through Facebook. And there was one young girl, and who I've lost contact with. She was like a little button to me. She was like a little pixie. She had brown hair and brown eyes, and they sparkled, but very intelligent.
Mm. And I mean, you do hear a lot of, you know, a lot of heart-wrenching stories about young people. I mean, I've worked in the industry myself, and it certainly makes you think a lot about and value what you have in your own life and your own family, because a lot of these young people haven't got family. They haven't got the closeness that we experience and the love that we experience. And to have a worker that's got a heart can be the difference between them wanting to be here and not wanting to be here. Do you think that?
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
And I believe, like I said to you just previously, like a young person and that have had to fight to survive can see through anybody that is really putting on an act.
Mm.
And a lot of my stuff come from gut feeling.
Mm.
You know, you sense things with kids. I never had, and I know of other workers that actually have been hit by young people. And you've got to understand too that a lot of that anger
has to come out somewhere,
has to come
I
out
believe.
somewhere.
Mm.
I can recall an incident between two 13-year-old girls. And one turned around and told me to get effed. And I said, hey, you told me to do that yesterday. I said, what are you coming at? She said, that's different, Sheila. I didn't mean it. And she didn't. And that was the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the whole thing, you know. So, yeah, and then I retired for 12 months.
How long were you in youth work?
24 years.
So 24 years in youth work. Wow. You deserve a medal, let me tell you.
No.
Yeah, it's just
you know,
insane.
Honestly, I've got to say this, and I did start to say that earlier, and but at my 70th, this is something that I said, and said it to, and I believe in this. Today, there is so much. Everybody is so busy with their life. You know, I can walk down the street, and I've actually looked at somebody and I've smiled and I've got a smile back. It costs you nothing.
That's right.
To have a smile on your dial and just turn around and say hello. And today that doesn't happen. People are too busy about, and look,
Everyone's in a rush and a hurry, and
there's
yeah.
no, you know, and that's the issue.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very sad that our society and community has come to this.
Yeah, it is
where
sad.
there is not, you know, like you've got a little community where I live, and it's great because we all care about each other. We all say, are you okay? We've had some incidents here that have been sad, but, you know, on the whole, we sort of look out for each other.
It's great to be in that environment, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they're all school.
Yeah,
They're
that's
all
it,
school.
and that's the thing. That's
And,
it.
you know,
It's all about how we were, how we were taught, or whatever, when we were young by our grandparents and parents, and they were old school, and you know, and I think there's a lot of values there that is not they're just not passed on these days. Yeah,
it's getting lost. Like when you turn around and you have, and young people have so much now. If they have to go without, I get scared about how they're going to react because, you know, like we had to go without.
Well, that was a way of life,
But
to be without.
And in saying that, Kelly, too, like I mean, I can honestly say this about my girls: they're caring, loving people. I'm very proud of them and everything they've done.
And they are. I mean, Kelly Peckham,
yeah,
was on the show last week, I think it was, and she's quite an incredible woman, and she's your daughter. Like, wow, that was it was a really beautiful interview, and Kelly spoke about the women of Laos.
Yeah, Laos.
And what she's done for them, and you know just the simple act of going and visiting the women in the
what they call drug rehabilitation, which is
more like a jail. Yeah, which is sad. You know, so I know your daughters are beautiful. So when you've got out of youth work,
I went into aged care.
Aged care.
Yeah, I was.
Wow, that's from one end of the scale to the other.
Yeah,
like literally.
60, at 65, and then I was on 66. I was when I started.
66 started in aged care.
Yeah, I started off. I rang up somebody.
We're all getting ready to retire at that
I
age.
said I want 10 hours. They're going to give me 10 hours a week. Ended up being 25, and then I did volunteer for a couple of years after that because I had brain surgery.
So that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So when did this kind of happen? Were you working in aged care when this happened?
I was.
Yeah.
I was still working. As like I said, I was 68. I'd suffered with trigeminal neuralgia.
Now explain to the viewers.
Well, there's not a lot of. It's not generally known. It's not commonly known. And what it is there's a nerve. It was at the base of my brain, and there was a blood vessel that was hitting that nerve, and the pain would be horrendous going up the side of my face. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink, I couldn't talk. And you can see I can yap like nobody's business, but
I was going to say, how did all that happen?
you know, like it's sort of, and it was.
How long did that go on for?
4 years, and I was heavily medicated, and I worked with that.
So for 4 years,
yeah.
you were heavily medicated,
yeah.
in pain, working in aged care.
But the pain was stopped, like when I had the medication.
Yeah.
If I didn't have the medication, I was in hospital for a week. They didn't know what it was when I first had it. So they called a neurologist in. I was under a professor here who was absolutely marvellous. I had all the faith and trust in him. And he did not want me to have brain surgery. So that's why I was so heavily medicated for so long.
You can mention his name if you want.
Yeah,
He was
it was Professor Lever.
All right, yeah, very well known Professor Levi here, and you know, just an amazing surgeon.
Brilliant man, but he's more into the research of it now. And anyway, like he recommended that I have this brain surgery. He said, Sheila, we've tried to avoid it for so long.
So 4 years medicated,
I was medicated, and then, as I said, I still worked. But when they operated, like they had to put a stent between the blood vessel and the nerve because that's what was hitting it. And it's caused due to stress, they believe. They're not quite sure what causes it.
So they're saying the condition is caused
Through stress.
Wow.
So I never ever felt like I was stressed when I was working. I just thought, oh, you know, you just keep going. You know. This solicitor that I told you about, he said to me, what do you class as a success? And I said, well, if I can get a child to have a wash, that was a success. But he said, how do you cope? I said, well, you focus on the next one. You don't realise, I don't believe, and workers don't. And as you know, there are some workers that there's been some really bad things happen. And I don't believe it's an area that's really, even to this day, there's not enough time given to be looking after the workers that look after other people. Yeah. And you know,
sadly,
it is very sad.
Because I think what happens is when you're in that job, and I mean I've lived that job, so I can say yes, I do know. If you're a loving person, you tend to put your heart and soul into it, and I know that that's what I did because to me, they were like my children. You know, like that's how I treated them. Like I cared so deeply about them. And the hard thing is to switch off when you come home. You can't, in a sense.
Yeah. You're always thinking about, well, what am I going to do tomorrow?
Yeah.
And, you know, and not only that, I had foster kids as well. I worked and I still had foster kids at times. I had a girl for 18 months.
So you had...
And then I did some respite.
We got to take a page out of Sheila's book, guys. Seriously, tomorrow if I get up and say I'm tired, it's just not going to happen because I'm just going to think of Sheila. So let me go back there. So
sorry.
You're How old were you then? 60.
I was 37 when I started.
37, but you were 66 when you were in there. You had
65.
65 retired.
And I did have a couple of foster kids.
So
and I had some respite, but I did that only for a couple of years.
Only a couple of years. Jeez, hey.
No,
and you've had brain surgery.
Yeah.
So the day that this happened, what was the first thing that happened to you, to think that there was something wrong? Was it all the pain?
Oh, the pain nearly drove me insane.
So,
I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat. I mean, I'd like that to happen there so I could lose some weight. But anyway, point is
I'm glad you can talk because I'm no good with sign.
I never should. But for me, it's... and I think one of the things that I've learned, I've had some rough times, but hey, I've had some bloody good times too. And I do believe that it's how you look at life. I think, and I said to this particular girl that I told you about, was very intelligent. I said to her once, I said, my darling, you put up a lot of masks. I said, this is this one. And I said, but you're doing this. And I said, you know what, underneath that, I said, and I said, and she said, how do you know? And I said, because I know. I said, because I do it. So, they're the sort of things, and I look back and I can reflect now and I can look back and think about things. I'm not sorry some things have happened to me. There's one thing I regret in my life, but I can't share. But other than that, I'm glad that I've gone through some of the things. My life's not been hard compared to some. I've always had a roof over my head. I've had food in my belly. I've had clothes on my back, and a lot of love. And to me, that's what's lacking today. There's so, and as I said, I'm rich and blessed. I have that love. I don't see enough of my kids because they have so much busy lives, but I understand all that. And I built a life for myself. I had to build a life for myself in 2014 for the things that happened to me in that time, and that's when I had surgery.
How long did it take you to get over it?
I didn't take that long. I couldn't drive for 6 weeks, of course.
Oh, that would have killed you.
But I understand.
Not being able to socialise.
I know, I've never stood. But anyway, but I had to rebuild my life, and I did it. And I think you can't afford not to enjoy every day as much as you can.
Yeah.
It's just got to be. You have to be positive in your outlook on life. And sure, we've all had terrible things happen to us. I couldn't imagine. It'd be very rare that you wouldn't have one person who has not had something tragic happen in their life. And my message is that to live life every day. If you get knocked down, stand up, dust yourself off, and think for the grace of God, go life, for want of a better term. And use your energy, not on bitterness and hate. Use it on saying, well, that happened, but now I'm going to do this. One of the biggest lessons I learned was compassion for others. And I think...
Was that something that you believe you learned as a young woman, or...?
Something I had.
Yeah. And
I think, and it's probably due to my background, because my parents never had nothing, but there was always love in my house. They could have their blues and whatever, same as anybody else. And I've got one person who always calls us the dysfunctional family, but we're there for each other when the chips are down, and I think that's the thing. And, don't waste your energy on hate and bitterness. Don't waste that, because you become bitter. You become sad, and if you can have a good word about somebody rather than a bad, and think, I'm going to get up today and I'm going to enjoy today. I'm not going to lay down and die for nobody. When I lay down and die, that's when my breath stops.
It's certainly the end. There's not much you can do about it.
Can't do nothing about it.
So you might as well live up to that last second.
Be positive, there was a time where I was in town once, and I'm waiting for a bus. It's not funny, but at the time it was. And this fella fell down. Poor old thing. He was homeless, I think. He had strings in his shoes. And the poor bugger fell down. There was half a dozen of us dead. Not one person went to help that man up. But I did.
Oh, I can't believe that.
I did. And he said, I'm looking for the mission. And I said, well, I'll take you over there. He said, oh, thanks, Dawn. And I walked him across the road and I took him to the mission. That man never had a smell of grog on him. Because he was dressed the way he was,
Yeah.
they thought,
People are too quick to judge, I think.
And that's the trouble today. You know, and like I say, Kelly, you've got to stay positive. And if you can, and the more love you give, the more you'll get back.
That's so true, isn't it?
You know, the more, and don't be bitter. Don't dwell on things that are bad that have happened in your life. Or, you know, we've all lost something, or we've all had an experience where you think, oh my God, and have a good cry. You know, I had someone say to me once, I wish I was like you bury your head in the sand. No, I don't. What I do is face it, deal with it, and move on. And think, well, this is what I'm
And with a happy spirit.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, if you want to be like that, okay, well, I dwell on your own sorrows. And, you know, and that's where you'll be. But if you want to be happy, you can be happy. You know, like so that's my message.
Because I was just going to say, like...
I got in there before
and it's all right, because, you know, I mean, such beautiful words there, like, and so true, and they should ring clear to everyone, like how important it is to be just a loving soul and to give and to always be, like, non-judgmental.
You can't afford to be.
You know, because you just don't know who you're sitting next to. You just don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who that person is related to. You know, there's just so many things in life that we just take for granted and so quickly assume, you know, what's going on. And I think, you know, like hearing your words that you've just said then really makes you think of how important it is generally just to be happy, just to wake up and be happy and just be happy with others around you and be grateful for what you've got. Because there'd be, and I know not many people live through brain surgery. I mean, that is just incredible. And just all the things that you've done, and you've been so giving, and what you've done for society, and what you've done for beautiful young people. And I've never had this opportunity to thank you, like, and I'm saying thank you from all those young people that you've ever worked with, and all the lovely elderly people that you've worked with. You know, thank you, thank you, thank you for being so loving and being our Sheila Jones, and you know, and just giving and beautiful to everyone. And you know, you're just such a beautiful soul, and I just love your happiness and bubbliness and everything. And I know you've lived through a lot and gone through it, and you come out the other side, and you always wake up happy. You always answer the door in a great mood and happy and whatever. So thank you from everyone, from society in general. But if there was someone, like if there's someone out there tonight and they're watching this show, and they're about to have brain surgery or some sort of surgery, you know, relevant to what you've spoken about, that you've gone through yourself, because you must have felt a bit like anxious and all that the night before when you knew you were going for surgery and whatever. And you, like, I know what I was like when I've been for surgery. I've actually put things in place just in case I don't come out of it. So I know your other message was quite special and beautiful, but what would be a message that you would give someone that's going to have like surgery like that, or, you know, just so they, just a word of hope, or, you know, not to give up, to keep going, that sort of thing?
That's exactly what I'll be saying. I'll be saying, look, you stay positive and think at the other end of it, I'm going to come out of this. There's nothing going to get me. I am going to be on this earth through this operation, and be positive about it. Think positive. And I know I can share this. I know of someone that they thought was going to die in intensive care, and everybody around her had positive thoughts, and you can send those positive thoughts, and your family and friends, whoever the case may be, you know, give you that support, and you believe in yourself and believe in the positivity of, yes, I'm going to get through this. You know, okay, it's bad, it's not going to be easy, but I will get through this. And it's keeping yourself really, you know, focused on the fact that I am, and be positive about it. It's, you know, and remembering that you're in good hands. You're in with medical people that really, you know, I mean, I was lucky. I had a really good surgeon, and I could have died without him. It took me 6 hours to come out of recovery, but believe in yourself, believe in the people that are around you, and believe that you're going to be okay. You know, okay.
That's my line.
I'm glad I pitched it. But yeah, you know, so it's just all about being positive. And, you know, and you can overcome most things. I'm not saying you can overcome everything, because that's unreal to say that and unrealistic. But if you must have a positive attitude, you must think to yourself, you know, I'm going to live through this. I want to live life. That's what it's all about. It's living life.
Yeah, that's what it's about, all right.
Because we haven't got many years of it, you know.
No, we've only got one. We've only got one of them. I mean,
That's it. That's
just like some
goes.
people that shove it, you know, 50 lives into one, like you.
Oh, get out
Anyway.
of here. Oh, there's better than me, let me tell you.
So this brings me to the people that support me each and every week. So I'm going to read some names now because I really want to say thank you, and I'm genuinely saying thank you for joining in and making this whole show possible, because each and every week, you know, you're always there. And I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, of course, I wouldn't be sitting here living my dream. And this is what I love to do. I love to share the stories of people around us that have lived extraordinary lives and are willing to share what they have done in life, and also willing to give my viewers, you know, beautiful positive messages at the end of each and every show. So thank you, Kerry Ingham. Thank you, Shireen Smith. Bless you, Shireen. Michelle Wilcox. Thank you, Michelle. Di Smitties. I'm sending you lots of love and kisses, Di Smitties. Whoa, and we've got Louise Ann Poole. We've got Lisa Dixon. We've got Vicky McGuinness. And we've got Jeanette Dempsey. Frank Day. Good on you, Frank. Thank you so much, Uncle Frank, for tuning in. And Melissa Bean. We've also got Kelly Peckman. So there you go. So, yeah. So we've got Monica Gilbert. Thank you, Monica, for tuning in. Amber J. Sterling. We've got Margaret Moffat. Georgina Harry. Thank you, Georgina. We've got Tony... I'm trying to read that off, but I just can't read. Oh, Tony Ingham, is that right? Okay. I've got another producer here tonight taking, like I said, taking the place of my sick producer, so things haven't been quite the same. So Georgina Harry, I know I did mention that, but I'll say it again. Joanne Haskew, thank you, Joe. You're always there. You're just awesome. Anne-Marie Martin, thank you so much, Anne-Marie. And thank you, Trudy McGovern. So thank you, all of you, for tuning in, like I say, and supporting what I do each and every week. And, you know, the one message that I say to all of you is stay positive, never give up, and just know that no matter what, you're going to be okay. If you've got problems, you know, find the organisations that can help you and support you. There are organisations in every state in Australia. So, you know, look them up on the internet or tell a friend. Talk to someone. If you've got any situation, ring Lifeline. So just from me to you, stay positive, don't give up. And Cheryl Cleves, a late one there, Cheryl Cleves. Hi, Cheryl. But right in the middle of my really important message, no matter what, just don't give up. Stay really positive and know that you're going to be okay. So I'll see you next week, Wednesday night, 7:30. Bye for now.